Check your startup's eligibility for Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. With the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, the government aims to disburse 945 crore to seed stage startups starting from this year till 2025. The 945 crore Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, SISFs, will become operational from April 1st of this year till 2025, and this will be disbursed through selected incubators across India, according to a Gazette notification by the government. Here is how you can see if your startup is eligible for this scheme, which will be implemented by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DIAT. Eligibility criteria for startups. A startup recognized by PIAT Incorporated not more than 2 years ago at the time of application. Startups must have a business idea to develop a product or a service with market fit, viable commercialization, and scope of scaling. Startup should be using technology in its core product or service, or business model, or distribution model, or methodology to solve the problem being targeted. Preference would be given to startups creating innovative solutions in sectors such as social impact, waste management, water management, financial inclusion, education, agriculture, food processing, biotechnology, healthcare, energy, mobility, defense, space, railways, oil and gas, textiles, etc. Startups should not have received more than 10 lakh rupees of monetary support under any other central or state government scheme. This does not include prize money, subsidized working space, etc. Shareholding by Indian promoters in the startup should be at least 51% at the time of application to an incubator for the scheme. Any startup will not receive seed support more than once each as per provisions of guidelines. Eligibility criteria for incubators. The incubator must be a legal entity. The incubator should be operational for at least 2 years on the date of application to the scheme. The incubator must have facilities to seat at least 25 individuals. The incubator must have at least 5 startups undergoing incubation physically on the date of application. The incubator must have a full-time chief executive officer, experienced in business development and entrepreneurship. The incubator should not be disbursing seed fund to incubatees using funding from any third-party private entity. The incubator must have been assisted by the central/state governments. In case the incubator has not been assisted by central or state government, incubator must be operational for at least 3 years, must have at least 10 separate startups undergoing incubation in the incubator physically on the date of application, and must present audited annual reports for the last 2 years. Assistance to incubators. Experts Advisory Committee, EAC, constituted by PIAT shall evaluate incubators for grant assistance. A grant of up to 5 crore would be provided to a selected incubator in milestone-based 3 or more installments. Disbursement of seed fund to startups by incubators. Up to 20 lakh rupees as grant for validation of proof of concept or prototype development or product trials. The grant shall be disbursed in milestone-based installments. Up to 50 lakh rupees of investment for market entry, commercialization, or scaling up through convertible debentures or debt-linked instruments. Seed fund shall strictly not be used by startups for creation of any facilities and shall be utilized for the purpose it has been granted for. Selection of startups. Each of the incubators applying for the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme will constitute a committee called the Incubator Seed Management Committee, ISMC, consisting of experts who can evaluate and select startups for seed support. The final composition and members of ISMC of each incubator shall be approved by EAC. The startups shall be selected through an open, transparent and fair process. The incubator may shortlist applicants based on their evaluation for a presentation before ISMC. ISMC shall evaluate applicants based on their submissions and presentations and select startups for seed fund within 45 days of receipt of application. All incubators shall provide information about the progress of evaluation of startups real-time to Startup India portal. Selected startups shall receive seed funding under the respective incubator that selects them as beneficiaries, as per their preference shade during application. All applicants will be able to track the progress of their application on the Startup India portal on a real-time basis. An applicant, if rejected once, may apply afresh. The guidelines of the scheme are also available on the website of Startup India.